Let's talk about miniatures. I've been known to do some role-playing. Hey guys, welcome back to another miniature mashup. Sorry about the delay on this video. I'm recovering from the death plague that's hit my state. Feeling a lot better though, and I hope you enjoy today's video. So a while back somebody gave me one of these plastic ogre miniatures, which comes from a board game called Dark World, which is apparently based on a German popular RPG of a similar name, like Dark Fantasy World. I don't remember. I don't know the name. When I got that miniature, I wasn't that strong of a painter at the time, and so I thought I'd strip it and give it another go, especially since I did that Plastic Ogres video a while back. I was gonna try to roll that into it, and I forgot that acetone, when you apply it to something, especially if it's made of plastic for the first time, you're really taking a gamble, and I lost this gamble. This acetone and this plastic work together about as good as kale juice and Stoli, and I wrecked it. As you can see, it's really kind of disfigured. It'll never make a good ogre miniature again, and that really got me sad because this is a long out of print miniature, and I wrecked it. There's just no recovery. But then I realized there isn't any reason to throw this miniature out. This sort of large-sized humanoid would make a great starter for today's project, the Shambling Mound. Now, I'll be the first to admit that there are some really awesome Shambling Mound miniatures available commercially. Troll and Toad has this one out from Wizards of the Coast for $6, and it is super cool. Of course, your cheapest pre-painted option is probably this Man-Thing HeroClix, which is just 90 cents. It's a big miniature. It's certainly big enough to be a Shambling Mound. And then there's this thing for $15. This cute little
Chia Pet, the pottery that grows.
That'll really make the paladin rust his armor. Giant novelty plant shaped like Homer Simpson. I don't even understand these Chia Pet licenses. There is a superhero Chia Pet. Can you guess who it is? It's not Swamp Thing. It's not Poison Ivy. It's not even Groot. Nope. Yeah, Spider-Man, because the Spider-Man license is so strong you can slap it on anything and it just works.
Spider-Man, we're at it again. This time with 50% more Spider-Man.
So one of the first things we're going to do with our melted ogre is take our Dremel tool, put the rotor attachment on there, and take off the bottom half of his face. I'm also going to whittle down his hands, his big hands, and make them just look like more wrist, give him more of a tendrily arm effect, make them slightly out of proportion with his body. To give him more of a plant-like look. We're also going to put a small drill attachment, and we're going to put holes in the bottom of his foot so we can screw him down to his base, and we're going to put those same holes into his wrists and face so we can wire things into his face, basically. Put that rotor attachment on again, and let's take off his belt buckle and flatten his chest. He's got a little money pouch in the back. We're going to take that off as well. There's really no call for it. I'm going to glue half of a jewel bead onto the front of him to sort of make it look like a large lower jaw, as you can see. This will be sort of muted when I attach more tendrils to his face, so it won't be as noticeable as I may have wanted initially. Now for the wrists, I'm going to give him sort of these flowery hands. I've got these flower beads that I like a lot. They're very organic, and I can see using them for a lot of things. And also the end of a toothpick. Those flower hands are a little odd. I actually based them off the cartoon of Dungeons & Dragons, Lucan, from the episode 7, Prison Without Walls. And let's take a look at that.
Maybe it doesn't mean us any harm.
Yeah, I bet you believe in the Tooth Fairy, too.
Shoot, will you? It's feeding off the arrow's energy. It's getting bigger.
This is terrible.
And see what I'm going for. We're also going to add a little bit of fruit to his shoulders, sort of seed pods or some other kind of mossy, moldy growth. And these little beads are actually from a fake holly plant. Once in a while, if you can find at Goodwill's or even at craft stores, they've got these artificial plants. If you can get them cheap enough, they're really a good source of nice organic material. They're good for scenery, and they can also be good for these sort of plant monsters. And I'm going to glue that on there. I'm also going to add a lot of Spanish moss, which is a scenery type plant. It's actually not a plant, unlike a lot of the scenic plants I use, which are real moss. Spanish moss is completely artificial. It has wires in it, which means if you're going to break some off, you have to cut it. I actually wrecked a bit of it today by pulling it, and what you do is you expose the wire underneath, and you just have to throw it all out because it's worthless. So a little bit, this is my first time really working with Spanish moss, yeah, before this is painted, it looks like a hot mess. I know it doesn't look like much now, but we're going to put this on a base. We're going to prime it. And we're going to do layers and layers of different greens. And the greens aren't really that important, as long as you start dark and work your way up. And here it is with just various layers of paint on it. Let's take a look at the finished product. Lord, I was born a Shambling Mound, born out of a bog when some lightning struck the ground. When it's time for fighting, I get 2 slam attacks per round, 'cause I was born a Shambling Mound. My father was a bramble down in Georgia. He needed water and light from the sun, but I was born in the backlight of a saltwater marsh, and I really don't need none.